Greetings from Storybrooke. I'm Bill Meeks.
And I'm Anne-Marie DeSimone.
And this is enchanted sand that can make something brave appear whole again. We also talk about ABC's hit series Once Upon a Time. How you doing, Anne-Marie?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Like, I don't know how the Oncers are doing tonight, though, because they're
not in the... We only have a few people joining us tonight.
Usually 8:30 p.m. EST at live.universebox.com or on Alpha Geek Radio at alphageekradio.com on the special events channel. We come on live to talk about Once Upon a Time, and usually there are quite a lot of people. Today, there's like three.
So shout out to Angel, Hope, and Poke Canada.
Poke Canada. Poke Canada?
Don't. No.
I think it's Poke Canada.
No Pokemon.
But thank you guys for coming.
Seriously, thank you.
Yeah, I'd hate to say what this portends for the episode of Once Upon a Time we'll be discussing, though. And Bobby, I hope, says in the chat room, is usually a few minutes late, which is very true.
That's fair. Oh, and Poke Canada's gone.
Oh, Poke Canada, now you're gone. Okay, but it was a somewhat interesting episode of Once Upon a Time, say the least.
Things happened.
They definitely did. I saw things happen. You saw things happen. Yep. Why don't we go ahead and hear what happened,
things that happened
with the rhyming episode summary, and then we'll get into our discussion.
Hold on, let me grab my Excalibur.
Excalibur.
Mine is whole. Okay. Arthur is due for an origin story. One is revealed in its twistacular glory. We also find out how Lancelot kissed the queen of the realm to ignite a plot tryst. Snow fights with David, but not for too long. Two with one heart can admit when they're wrong. Merida has arrows. Will Rumple sling them? Bravery might help in this week's The Broken Kingdom.
The Broken Kingdom? The Broken Kingdom.
I'm sorry. Why are you talking funny?
I always talk funny when I repeat the episode title.
You always do.
The Broken Kingdom. By the way, Poke Canada's back,
and so is Bobby.
And I don't care if it is actually Poke Canada. I'm calling you Poke Canada. Sorry. Okay, Anne-Marie, what'd you think overall?
I don't feel like I have very strong feelings one way or the other. Things happened. Things made me mad. Things made me happy. Things happened. How did you feel about this episode?
I really like the kind of Arthur origin story and everything, but then they kind of lost me in the last 45 seconds. But
45, those last 45 seconds were like...
Yeah. No one saw that.
Oh,
sadly. She went again. Yeah, she went like that with the thing. And Amy P's here too. Oh, see,
yay,
now the game's getting here.
It's a party
the game's getting
now.
Here. See, we thought. Poke Canada says you actually pronounced it right. Ha.
Oh.
Because you were like, it's Poke Canada. I was like, no, it's Poke Canada.
So it's like Poke Tuna that we had
Poke
at Epcot?
Canada.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so the Sands of Avalon. I have it written here in the doc as the Sands, like sans serif.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
I typed it all in on a tablet. But the Sands of Avalon, a big plot point in this week's episode. I thought some people might like a little bit of information on it.
Yes, please.
For one, Avalon is a land from Arthurian legend. It's said to be where Excalibur was forged, and also where Arthur went to be restored after he was killed in battle.
Oh.
So I'm wondering, considering this, since Excalibur was forged there and everything, do you think that the Sands would have worked to restore the sword? Would it have been like a legit Excalibur? They never even tried.
That's the thing!
Yeah, they
the whole point of the stupid Sands was to fix the sword. Nope.
Yeah, it was just like, I thought it would be, at least worth a shot for people. for Arthur or Guinevere to, just sprinkle a little sand on there to try it out. Which, by the way, Bobby says in the chat room, I'll pretend the last line didn't happen. Yes, probably for the best.
Angel was agreeing.
Yeah, and Poke Canada says the never-ending Sands of Avalon. Very true. It never does seem to run out.
Yeah.
But I did love the way the Sands were brought into the story, which was the gauntlet, which we saw last season.
I loved the gauntlet.
In the first appearance of Spice Girls of Evil in season 4A, I believe. 4A. But during the Frozen arc, they had a little flashback where Belle got Rumple had the gauntlet, and then I think Cruella and Maleficent wanted the gauntlet, so they got Belle because Belle was Rumple's weakness.
Yep.
And so, and he mentions that he traveled to Camelot to get it in that episode. So we finally get to see him go back. We finally get to see how he got it. And so I thought that was kind of a cool little tie back there. And Amy P asked, what was the last line? We'll get to that. Someone in the chat room will probably tell you.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Oh, and I also thought it was really funny that, because we've been complaining the past few episodes about how fake-looking Camelot Castle looks. Turns out it's totally fake.
It is. It's magic.
It was created with magic.
Not a single stone is there.
So that's what made it appear whole again without actually being whole again. I do wonder what made Camelot fall, though, initially. If anyone in the chat room knows, the Arthurian legends.
Oh, I'm sure somebody will know
Sir
it.
Michael might know.
Sir Michael of Lucero.
But yeah, definitely go ahead and chime in with that in the chat room. Okay, Emery.
Okay, I have some things to say about the Sands of Avalon as well.
Okay.
So when the sands are used on people, which we saw significantly in this episode, do they know that they're acting against what they want to do? Do you think that they retain it, or is this another stinking mind wipe and poor Snow and Charming don't know left from right, from up from down?
I don't think it's a mind wipe so much as like a mind controlling thing, to where like it's completely chill mind control. Like they're controlling people's minds, but the people don't care. Like they're like, yeah, I'm not acting, like myself. I'm not making decisions by myself. But at the same time, I'm cool with it, man.
You think?
Yeah.
See, I kind of don't. I feel like it's sort of like Dark One Dagger control or heart control, because there are many ways to. Yeah, but those people know that they don't want to be saying or doing what they're saying or doing.
But I don't think it has like direct control, as i.e., Arthur isn't making Guinevere do these things. It's just because that will restore their relationship or whatever, or make it appear restored. That's why she's acting in that manner. And even when Lancelot in this episode is like, hey, it's the Sands of Avalon, which is a little presumptuous after just one kiss, Lancelot. But I'm just saying, and she's like, I know, I don't care, whatever.
But that's because at this point it's been 5 years of Camelot time that she's been under the sands.
Poke Canada says perhaps a certain woman, cough, Cora, cough, broke the kingdom since she was aware of Lancelot. I could see that.
Oh.
Definitely.
Interesting. Johanna did it.
Sir Michael says.
Johanna.
Very true. Very true.
Also, when the spell is eventually broken, do these people know what happened, or is it a little bit mind wipey? Like, do you think that they just like the second the spell's broken, they just keep going, I'm sorry. Like,
the Sands of
Avalon spell.
See, the thing is, though, we haven't seen that broken.
I know we haven't.
Might not be able to be broken.
Everything can be broken.
Maybe like a double dose, like a second dose to restore them from the restoration.
I don't know. We'll find out about that. Also, that vial was very, very full when Rumpel and Gwen made their trade, which I thought was very generous of Rumpel, which is not his typical MO. Because normally he gives you just enough for whatever you want to do. But now the vial's like empty. It's like they used almost their last bit of sand on the Charmings.
I'm kind of wondering if they had to use it anywhere else between, the flashback and the modern day.
Yeah, that's why I was like, how many people are under this spell? It's all of Camelot.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Camelot was created with the spell, so does that automatically put the people under the spell?
With the flowing sands. By the way, I thought Guinevere was probably the worst, like, sand blower in the entire episode. Like, she was like... it was just like, what? I'm saying, well, go back and watch the episode if you don't, please. Our audio listeners will love that, I'm sure.
Here we go.
Absolutely love that. No, but it was very interesting, and I am anxious to see what happens when the spell is lifted, when the sands have run through the hourglass, so to speak.
Sands through the hourglass.
So are
these are the once upon our times.
Nice.
I try.
But I also kind of think that because we still have a bit probably a few more weeks to kind of fill in the lost time.
Yeah.
And I really think, Snow and Charming being under the control of Arthur or, doing Arthur's bidding would be a good impetus for Emma to break bad, you know?
Yeah, it really would.
Even after the events of this episode, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Okay, but there was another person there in the diner with them.
Yes.
In that scene. Shady Lancelot. Lancelot, I don't think can be trusted. One,
Yeah.
I'm still not completely convinced this is actually Lancelot. And if it is, I'm not convinced he's on the up and up.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, one of my first things is that this entire episode, you know, he's kind of there. He's a little bit like dull around the edges a little bit, but he's very focused and concerned on getting his hands on the dagger. You know, he says to Snow, "You need to let me do this."
Yeah,
Snow.
I was like, what is that?
Don't you trust me?
Yeah.
Like why can't Snow try and put it? Because Snow says, well, maybe if we're holding the dagger, it'll be cool. And he's like, no, let me do it. I mean, obviously, you know, he's trying to be the gallant knight or whatever. But I think whoever Lancelot might be wants to get a hold of that dagger because if you remember last week, we were talking and saying that, you know, there's that little like flit in the shadows before Lancelot first steps out.
Yes.
I'm still pretty convinced that, you know, Lancelot's not actually Lancelot. He's under a glamour spell, or it's a glamour spell or something like that.
Basically, it's Zelena.
And I realized that we haven't seen Zelena since that moment happened, since Lancelot first showed up. We didn't see her this episode at all.
We didn't see a lot of people this episode.
And, you know, we have seen that she can use a glamour spell.
Yes.
And we were talking about it a little bit earlier, too. We've also seen that she's willing to chop her hand off to get that bracelet off. She probably has a lot of time alone in Camelot Castle while the rest of the characters are running around doing their plots. There's a lot of swords and stones and everything else around that castle. I wouldn't put it past her to break it off.
She's just sitting there.
Repair it, and then put like a fake one on.
She's gnawing it off.
Until, you know, time came that she could cast a glamour spell or whatever. I think Lancelot is Zelena.
I'm more and more convinced on that.
Plus, I wonder how did Lancelot know that Snow and Charming had a fight? I mean, I know there was...
Yes!
Snow mentioned that there was a slight disagreement, but it was very obvious he was referencing the fight they had in that room.
Oh. But how would Zelena know that?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't imagine that when Regina magicked herself away, she went and was like, so, Zelena, did you know?
That could... I want to put that past her. I mean, there could be a cut scene somewhere on the cutting room floor where
Eddie, looking at you, man.
But I also wonder, you know, if it is Lancelot, could it be some plot by him and Guinevere? Because they had a very intense convo before Lancelot went off on his way. Plus, what was the other thing? Guinevere says something along the lines that a kiss from a queen isn't the only thing Lancelot coveted.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if maybe there's more to the Lancelot story that we still haven't got yet.
But I think that's part of the Sands. I think that was part of the Sands.
I could see that too.
I didn't interpret that as being him really, because I was like, but we got the whole story. Nothing happened. Nothing. He left. He chose to leave instead of torture himself and her.
But I still have some general distrust of her, even though.
Well, I completely distrust her.
You know what happened to her in this episode towards the end was icky. But at the same time, like I still think she might be running games. She still is suspicious to me, especially in terms of Lancelot. So I'm just saying they could be running games. Angel in the chat room says maybe Zelena poured water on herself to get out of it and then resurrected herself like she did back in Kansas. I can see that. And Hope says, I will be upset if it's not Lancelot, only because I wanted him since season 2.
That's fair.
But it's still the same actor, I guess.
Yeah. So. So I thought it was, yes, see? Ha! Bobby's on Team Anne-Marie. Okay. It's calling to its other half. When Emma is sitting there making her dream catchers, which we will talk about significantly, probably not this week, but next week.
Well, next week's episode is called Dreamcatcher, isn't
it?
Yeah.
So, that's her spinning gold. And Rumpel's like, do you hear that? Do you hear that? It's calling to its other half. Does Mind Rumpel think that the dagger is calling to Emma or to Excalibur? technically both are the dagger's other half.
Very true.
And does maybe he does think it's the Excalibur it's calling to, but Emma is the go between to get the dagger to the Excalibur. Meh.
But why does the Dark One want them reunited? Because I mean, it's very obvious that he does, because even in the modern day Storybrooke, he's kind of pushing
trying to help.
towards that.
Right.
Just for ultimate power?
I don't know if it's ultimate power. I don't know. Maybe it has to be together to get Merlin out.
You know what this episode got me thinking?
I don't. Please share with the group.
No, it's just that, we get a fake Dark One dagger in this episode. It got me thinking, what if Emma is no longer the Dark One? What if the sword and the dagger have already been reunited in that rock, and she cast the curse, or came back, cast the curse, and is trying to get the sword out to get the power, free Merlin or whatever? What if that dagger she's carrying around? What if it's a fake Dark One dagger?
Oh.
And what if she's hiding that fact from
everyone
in her head? Dark One. Like maybe she's trying to like keep him captive until she can get this sword out, so she can be like, well, not whack her head off, but whack him out of her head. Oh. What if it's already reunited in the stone?
Oh.
Just a thought.
That's a very serious thought, and I don't know what to do with it. Okay, side note. Sorry, audio listeners. Do we think that Rumpel knew about the Excalibur dagger connection when he was the Dark One?
Well, he obviously knew a lot about Merlin and Camelot and all that, because I think he mentions in this episode Merlin is in the tree.
He never talked about Merlin in the tree.
I thought he talked about Merlin in the tree.
He? Yeah. Was that when he was tied up?
No, it was when he was talking to Lancelot and Guinevere in the garden.
Okay.
Yeah, he mentioned Arthur and freeing Merlin from the tree and this, that, and the other. So I think I'm kind of curious to see if we're going to get more interaction between old school Rumpel and Camelot before.
See, that I would like to see.
It's all said and done. Because
I keep hitting my mic. Sorry.
I'd even forgotten that he had referenced getting the gauntlet from Camelot.
I did too. They've been putting this stuff in the works for a while now.
Definitely.
Interesting. Okay, fine. I don't know that whole that it's already reunited and she's carrying a fake one has just thrown me.
Blown your mind.
My mind is like, what?
Bobby says in the chat room, if the sword is resurrected, the Dark One will become corporeal and no longer need a host. That's what I think anyway. Which is fair, but where did the Dark One fly goo venomy stuff come from?
I think it was like a protectory thing, but for a minute I was like, are we going to get, I knew we weren't getting Dark One Lancelot. We already had a Dark One at the time, but what was it doing?
Yeah, because we've never seen that associated with Rumpelstiltskin before, except when it flew out of his chest with the whole sorcerer and apprentice and all that at the season finale. It's very, very interesting. Lots of questions. That's actually a lot of my notes this week.
So many questions.
We're just question mark.
Yeah.
But we have plenty of more question marks for you. But before we get to those, we have a little something we want to tell you about. Anne-Marie, why don't you tell them a little bit about it?
Hi, we have this thing. It's called a Patreon.
Patreon,
where you can support our podcast, Greetings from Storybrooke and Legends of Gotham and kind of Universe Box. But we are going to be starting some new podcasts soon. So
we will mention that for our Universe Box podcast, we're doing a Back to the Future episode this Wednesday. The actual date from Back to the Future 2 when they go into the future.
Awesome.
We're going to be talking Back to the Future 2 with Bobby Hawk. Bobby from Bradenton, the guy whose voicemail we usually play at first every week. Live.universebox.com, 8:30 p.m. EST if you want to check that out. But sorry, go ahead about the Patreon.
Yes. But Patreon is where you can pledge any donation that you like, starting at 10 cents, $10, $5, $1, whatever, to help us better our show. And, we've done things like upgrading some hosting, upgrading cameras, getting new computer equipment. And we have some rewards, and Anne-Marie needs to order stickers to send to our patrons.
Yes, Anne-Marie.
I meant to do that today, sorry. But some of our other rewards, we'll write you a handwritten letter. You'll get all of Bill's Dog Boy books. There's a bunch of milestones that we're unlocking.
Yeah, we have some new podcasts coming too. So this whole page is going to be revamped
It's going to be
very shortly.
completely different soon.
If you wanna tip us for the revamping,
Yes, that'd be great.
But we already have 33 of you supporting us.
So thank you.
Definitely $207.10 a month.
Woo!
Which
I'm about that 10 cents. Like I'm getting candy.
Thank you, L, for the 10 cents. We saw that. We appreciated that, definitely.
Yes.
But if you want to support us over there, it's patreon.com/universebox. And if you want to pick up like a t-shirt, a mug, something like that, you can go to greetingsfromstorybrooke.com/support. And there's all sorts of options over there, too.
There are tons. And actually, I think our t-shirts are going to be on Amazon soon.
Oh, are they?
Well, because the people that we do our t-shirts through has just signed a deal with Amazon. But that's another unrelated note.
Nice.
Yep.
But thank you guys again. Patreon.com/universebox and greetingsfromstorybrooke.com/support. Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and get back into our discussion here. We've got to get back into our discussion. The discussion that we're having about Once Upon a Time. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so this whole episode, obviously we're being set up to see Arthur as a really, 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 really bad guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's a really, 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 really bad guy.
Yeah.
Really, really, really.
Really bad guy.
He does some very shady stuff towards the end, too, with the sands and throwing it in Gwen's face. And, that's no way to keep a marriage alive with the sands of Avalon.
You can't be shady in Sands of Avalon. That's not going to be a healthy relationship.
Yeah, I mean, that's on the scale of, I don't know, Zelina pretending she's Marion or, that sort of thing. Or,
so much bad stuff, people.
Or Regina using Graham's heart so he'll sleep with her, that sort of thing. Yeah. There's a history of this on this show. So
there really is. It's such a problem because then how do you know who's true love's kiss?
But I'm not saying, I'm not trying to defend Arthur here, okay?
Oh, but you are.
No, I'm not. I'm not trying to defend Arthur, but I'm definitely, Amy P. asked how many reallys? Really? I don't know, Amy. Sing me a story about it. But let's see here. Yeah, so I'm not trying to defend Arthur, but at the same time, I don't really think Guinevere deserves a big defense either. I mean, obviously, right now she's being mind-controlled with the Sands of Avalon and everything, so you got to feel a little sympathy for her for that. But at the same time, I think she was kind of a jerk to Arthur in this episode, too. Because, we get the first scene in the episode. We see that, they were childhood sweethearts, and she's been on board with this plan since they were kids.
Right.
And it apparently, the entire time up through even finding the bad sword and having to hide it and everything, she's completely on board with it. And he's like this close, he thinks, to cracking the case and fixing everything and restoring the kingdom. And her birthday happens to slip his mind. And she goes and makes out with his best friend. And I'm just saying that she takes this gauntlet that she thinks she has this really good plan to fix everything, to get Arthur what he wants. And she doesn't tell him about it. She just assumes he wouldn't be into it.
He wasn't there.
I know he wasn't there.
He wasn't there. He'd already left on his own mission. He wasn't listening to a single word that she was saying.
But
he wouldn't take a single 10 minutes off to go to her birthday party that Lancelot arranged for her.
For one, he was so obsessed and so deep into his studies and everything. I don't think he realized it was her birthday party.
That's not a good thing.
No, I understand that.
This is bad.
I understand that.
All of the bad.
But the thing is, she didn't come to him being like, "Hey, Arthur, I found this gauntlet. We can find the Dark One's dagger." She was like, "Hey, come dance." She didn't even come to Arthur saying, "Hey, dude, it's my birthday. Come dance with me." She was like, "Come on, dance with me." And he was like, "Yeah, I'll be out in 5 minutes." And then he finds the thing he needs to restore the kingdom, or so he thinks. So I can see, again, not defending Arthur in the least, but I'm just saying that I think Guinevere could have approached this a slightly different way.
I feel like Guinevere has been approaching it for years and years at this point. I don't think that, this wasn't a, 1 week obsession. I feel like this has been years and years and years. Like, Lancelot's been arranging the birthday parties with the flowers that Arthur has promised for years and years and years. I don't think this was a quick thing. Yeah, because they have all that history, and, she's been supporting this plan since they were 12 or whatever. I mean, I don't think she's good. Do not get that twisted.
Yeah.
I do think she is just as evil as Arthur, but she'd been trying to get through to him and trying to get through to him. Like, he wasn't even taking care of his kid. Yes, I've taken over. He wasn't even taking care of the kingdom. He was just sitting in there buried in books with ink on his face.
But you know what she didn't try? She didn't try saying, hey, I have a really good plan for you to accomplish your goals. Let's go do it together. I think if she had approached it that way, this whole thing would have gone down differently. She wouldn't have been making out with Lancelot. They probably would have got the dagger. What?
Other enemy says, try and ignore AM for that long, Bill. She won't like it either.
Very true. Very true. But at the same time, if I was sitting here, I don't know, getting the podcast prepped, and you were like, hey, I figured out a new way to do the podcast, but you went off and did it on your own and then came here.
Oh, I would never do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that,
I know.
If I wasn't aware of that whole thing going on, then you weren't giving me a fair shot to be like, hey, okay, cool, let's do it. So I just think she could have approached it a little differently.
Don't worry, I'm not going to cheat on you with another podcast.
Well, Gotham TV podcast is okay because our other podcast is going out with them.
We're going steady.
But I just think that Guinevere could have approached it a completely different way, and I also didn't really buy the whole chemistry between her and Lancelot at all. Like, I didn't feel any sort of real romantic connection between those two actors at all.
I think that's because they were trying to fight it. It was a thing. They were acting.
But no, it didn't feel like trying to fight it. It felt more like, hey, we're both getting paid to be here and make out. Okay, let's make out.
That wasn't even a good make out either.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay, let's digress for a moment.
Okay.
Snow's vision from last season. So cool. I love that it was in the Dark One vault garden fiesta party place.
The Garden of the Dark One. Ha
ha! Yes. I just love that connection because I had completely forgotten about said vision with Emma ripping her heart out and crushing it into stone, where it was basically saying, like she knew Emma would become the Dark One. She pushed it out of her head so hard. However, happiness about the thing, but way too easy for people to get into the Dark One's vaults.
Yeah.
All you do is touch 3 little things and you're done.
Sunbird Square, something like that.
Yeah. Like, that was so easy. Everybody was just, we're just getting in the vault.
And
I'm like, no.
I also think it's weird that we haven't seen more of that place until now. Like,
yeah,
it feels like a set piece that we should have had throughout the entire series.
Yeah, but somebody just created it last season for a flashback thingy or a vision, and they were like, "Ooh, that's pretty. Let's use that."
It feels didn't they used it when they resurrected Rumple too, didn't they? When Zelena,
is that where that was?
I'm pretty sure it was. Because it was the same plate, right?
Oh, that's the on top. I meant the garden.
Oh, yeah.
The actual garden.
He's got a secret garden. Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Angel thinks that the garden is Avalon.
I could see that. Although it seems weird that Rumple has exclusive access to it. A little bit. Maybe.
I don't know.
I also wonder why Dark One in her head, Emma's head, hasn't had Emma go there to do any, or to hey, you have a condo here in Misthaven / Camelot / Fairy Tale
wherever
Land.
We are.
So why don't you go check it out? Go make sure that that the utilities are still on. Make sure there's no ticket infestation or something like that. Maybe check to see what that weird venomous goo down there was. That wasn't me.
What was that?
Yeah, 'Kay, that's also something that I would have loved to have seen Rumpelstiltskin using the entire series. Like,
Right? Yes, like shoot that out, yeah, spiderweb style.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't just all of a sudden goo people.
yeah, you can't just no surprise goo.
No surprise goo. That's not good for anyone.
You have to
No.
It's the classic Chekhov's goo scenario. If you put goo in a drawer at the beginning of the show, you have to let it out by the end. Or reverse, you have to put it in the drawer at the beginning if you want to let it out at the end. Chekhov's goo.
Bobby said he thought that the vault was protected with blood magic. And then Hope saying that's why she's wondering if there was more than one different vaults and wells for different things.
I could almost see it being like an interconnected series of fortresses or dwelling places with like magic. Because I mean, there's a magic door portal, classic. Once upon a time, if you're playing a once drinking game,
there's a portal.
Anytime there's a magic door portal, drink. But yeah, I could see them being connected somehow that way.
Interesting.
I am interested to learn more about that garden, though, and I think we're going to.
We have to.
Yeah,
we
definitely.
have to. The twisty thing was really pretty, though.
Although, obviously, teenage Emma probably won't be ripping out Snow's heart, but adult Emma might.
Oh.
I could see that.
I hope we don't go there.
So
she only has half a heart.
She does. She does. So if Emma takes Snow's heart,
does Charming die too?
No, what I was going to say, are they going to have to take out Charming's heart and rip it into quarters? This heart just keeps getting smaller and smaller.
I don't think they can live on a quarter of a heart. I don't think so.
Oh, and Hope says that the season 4 vault didn't have doors. Well, it did. They never went down into it, did they? They just showed Rumple kind of reforming on top of it. They never like did the bird, sun, moon button.
Yeah, there was no button thing.
They didn't put in the passcode.
They put in the wrong passcode and it locked. He couldn't get in. He forgot. He had to reset through Apple.
Yeah, definitely. Through one of Regina's apples. Okay, so has Merlin always been a tree then?
Exactly.
Has he always been a tree? I don't understand here, because obviously Merlin was a tree when they were kids. So has he always been a tree? But if he has been,
who was in the movie theater?
How did he appear to Emma, young Emma? How did he appear to Arthur? Because I mean, Arthur mentions
but he never said that he appeared to him. He led her to the tree and said the tree has prophesized things to me. Or that there's a man in the tree who prophesies things.
I will say that Hope clarifies. She means when Emma and Hook were trapped in the past, that vault with all the stuff in it, all the relics and stuff.
Oh, that vault.
I gotcha.
Oh.
Okay, no, but yeah, because apparently Merlin appears to Arthur and gives him this prophecy, and what was the other one? Yeah, the fact that the apprentice has been conscripted to do all this stuff for the sorcerer, for Merlin.
For all these years.
How did Merlin accomplish all this as a tree? Also, why does Arthur want to destroy Merlin? Because he says in this episode...
He wants to destroy Merlin. Yeah, he needs the sword.
That's part of the reason he wants to
there must be another prophecy we don't know about. Because we still have no idea how or where these prophecies come from. Like, what is it? A leaf falls off the tree and it says, you will become king by pulling a sword from the stone? Like, I don't know, with prophecies you think of like a scroll or an ordeal or at least a private meeting. You don't think of a tree.
But I'm still thinking that Merlin might end up being a baddie at the end of it. Just because...
Merlin?
Yeah, Merlin. I kind of think he might end up being a bad guy at the end of it. Because, for one, his prophecies, they always seem to create monsters. Arthur, he's a total monster now.
Yep.
Emma...
kind of a monster.
He probably had something to do with he had something to do with the Dark One's creation to begin with.
Right.
He gave Isaac, or he entrusted Isaac with the power to be an author. Look what Isaac did last season.
It was a bit of an... Yeah.
Anything Merlin gets his hands on turns to the opposite of gold. I won't say the word there. But some people in the chat room were saying maybe Merlin came to him. It came to Emma in a dream. Maybe it was he projected himself into the movie theater. I can
Or
see
that the
that.
tree talks. Pocahontas is coming. Who knows?
It could be. It could be before it's all said and done. Yeah, but
Really.
I think there's I need some answers on Merlin.
I need some major answers on Merlin. Yes, definitely.
We might have to wait until the Arbor Day episode to find out.
Okay, so
you
this
better start answering Merlin, or we're gonna send the
Johnny Appleseed.
Bizarro Smokey the Bear after you who burns down forest.
Only you can start forest fires.
Only you can start forest fires.
Okay, well, we sort of talked about my point within your point. So, moving right along to the section of the episode.
Oh, okay. So, yes. Okay, so, I was really enjoying all of the origin of King Arthur stuff, kind of like the interesting details about how Arthur came to power, how Camelot wasn't Camelot until it was Camelot, the Sands of Avalon, the Lancelot, Guinevere story. All this stuff is kind of coalescing and coming together. Then we get Rumple, White Knight Rumple, soon-to-be hero Rumple, hopefully in the modern day, and things are good and good and good. And then Merida strapped to the front of Emma's car.
Which wasn't the bad part.
Which, to be fair,
Wasn't awesome.
wasn't quite the bad part. The bad part was, give me the line.
I need you to make him brave.
This is...
The absolute worst. I don't even think they did Let It Go last season.
No, they did let it go a few
Did they?
times.
Okay.
Yeah, this is season 4A Frozen
This is Let It Go bad,
levels
people.
Of what I was terrified of this season becoming. I really hope it's not indicative of what's going to happen the rest of the half season. Because it just crushed me.
I think we were just like, no.
Yeah.
They take the costume so literally. They take the character so literally. Which we can look past if you don't start talking about the movies.
Apparently, Merida's going to keep her costume in Storybrooke, too. FYI. I mean, but to be fair, Arthur is right now, too.
Well, they
So you can't
they
complain
all
too much.
transformed, or they all were teleported, cursed, whatever, into Storybrooke in Camelot gear. So that's fine, but
Yeah, but it's just so frustrating, especially from Dark One Emma, who's been such a character with such gravitas up until now, to have like just a cheesy reference drop like that.
it was awful.
Especially when Emma probably knows the movie.
No,
No, the
the
timelines
movie
didn't work
time.
out? Okay.
That's the one time we'll talk timelines. Yeah, well.
But I really hope that it improves a little bit. It's not so on the nose, and that it gets a little more interesting once Merida starts training Rumple the White. I also want to know, in the past, in the flashback episodes, why was she captured? Did she cross our author? And will this tie back into, if you guys checked out some of the previews they released over the summer, there was a clip of Dark One Emma imprisoned in Camelot.
Yes.
In the subterranean places where we see Lancelot and Merida in this episode.
Oh.
So I'm wondering if it might tie back into that somehow.
I'm sure.
Possibly.
Interesting.
But I wonder why she was captured there and what her role is going to be in Camelot of old of a few weeks back.
Camelot, just a few weeks ago. Also, like, how and why was she captured by King Arthur so quickly? They haven't been in Camelot very long. Like, really, they've been there a week?
Yeah, like
A week of real days? So they just saw Merida before they, just right there. They let her go and off. Now she's captured. And she already has such a hatred and everything for King Arthur. Does King Arthur have her brothers? And that's why she needed the sprite? I don't think we're done with the sprites.
It could be.
That could make
Maybe,
that would make
maybe
sense.
She was going off to save her brothers,
She
right?
was going off to save her brothers, which I don't know how they need saving because those three, you haven't seen the movie. They're crazy. But I hate that I hate that Emma is using her the way that she is, but I'm interested to see how it plays out. Yes. Which we'll talk about a little bit more with the preview for next week, and her trying to fight back at least a little bit on the heart control thing. It looks like it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, again, I'll just say that, it just was a little too over the top for me. And it was everything I was terrified the season was going to be in that one line. So watch out. Once upon a time, people. Oh, I also will say that that the place under Emma's Storybrooke house, very reminiscent of the Dark One sanctuary thing that we see Lancelot and Guinevere and Snow and everyone else.
Everyone else is in there now.
Go into in this week's episode. So I thought that was kind of interesting. What do you agree with Amy and Hope about?
I don't know. I have no idea. I think Arthur is the king that still married his brothers. Yeah.
Yes.
That also Poke Canada and other Anne-Marie are bonding over their Canadianness. Because Poke Canada just found us tonight.
Oh,
so,
really?
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome, Poke Canada.
And there was discussion of Poke meaning to be part of Pokemon. And
there are Canadians in the chat room.
There were Canadians, people. Lots of Canadians.
Okay, so again, I thought that Hook was an absolute standout this episode. And it's not just because I'm hashtag Captain Swan. It's because I really think Hook is 1,001 times better this season than he was.
Yes, that I will fully support. They're letting him do something.
Mm-hmm.
He has things to do. He has a mission.
Mm-hmm.
He has a real mission other than helping with the mission. He has his own, and it's relevant to.
They're finally exploiting the richness of this character's history too, where he has a lot of experience with the Dark One. And demons chasing him, internal demons chasing him and everything, which comes to bear in this episode. You know, he ends up in this episode alone. He heals the darkness within Emma. He
distracts her and pulls. He
gets her on board for Henry's girlfriend / supports Henry's girlfriend. And he has that smile the whole episode, which is great to see because we don't see that in modern day Hook because he's all like, man, my girlfriend's the Dark One. I can't love her because she's the Dark One.
Well, she's not. I mean, she's being really dark to him even.
Yeah, but, he really feels like, Angel says in the chat room, he's an actual character and not an extension of Emma. Very true. Very true. Okay, but he's definitely, he feels like the hero the show needs right now. Like I really think that him and Rumple are going to be the real saviors this season.
That's insane, by the way.
But I also kind of got an inkling of a prediction of a thing. I think Emma. Well, obviously we know Emma probably cast this curse. I think she's going to cast it to get everyone out of this jam that Arthur has them in, and she's going to do it by either crushing Hook or Henry's heart. I'm thinking Hook right now, just because he's been so gloomy in modern day Storybrooke. And then she's going to split her dark heart in half to bring them back. Like she's going to crush that heart to cast the curse, and then just like we saw with Snow and Charming, where they split their heart in half to survive the crushing of the heart, I think she's going to split her dark heart into either Hook or Henry.
Oh.
To make them survive, because those are the only two people who have a heart that's crushable for a curse, to Emma anyway.
Interesting.
I also thought
you've got some crazy theories, and I'm loving them. Can you write for the show?
Yes. Okay. Yes. They just need to pay me. Okay, I guess I'll write fanfic. I was also thinking there's a small possibility that maybe they would use Henry's heart, and then she would take what's her name, Violet's heart, and split it in half to put into Henry. But at the same time, they're 14. It's not that serious yet. It's not true love serious, splitting hearts serious.
No, it's
yet
going horseback riding with the girl down the road that you really like and. No.
I do think it was interesting, though, that Violet's parents owned a stable, and Arthur was a stable boy when he was a kid. I know some people have been speculating that maybe she's the daughter of Arthur and Guinevere. That was another little tick in that column for me. That's all I'm saying. Oh, Monica loves my idea. Thank you, Monica.
Yes, it's a very good one. It's a very good one. All right. Henry and Violet. Nope. I don't trust her. I don't trust her. I don't trust her. But it's nice to see Henry get to act normal. He gets to be a teenager. He's hanging out with a girl. He's lying to his mother about the girl, even though she's the Dark One. Getting frustrated with mom's boyfriend for making silly eyes at him for hanging out with a girl and lying to his mom about it all. And
yeah,
that was. I mean, The Henry part was cute. The Violet part is, I don't trust you. I don't know. There's something just about her. I don't like it.
I am wondering where they're going with that.
Yes,
sure.
they're obviously going somewhere.
Yeah. It's going to develop slowly over the next few episodes until she dies.
Probably. Yes, Poke Canada. I really want more Maleficent and Lily this season. There has been nothing.
Oh, yeah. I was hoping that would be a major plot point this season. And
Nope.
nothing so far.
It's like they built that up and built that up and built that out and nothing.
Oh, also Hope's talking about some set photos, some very spoilery set photos from like this past week. Yeah, I saw those, Hope. Those are pretty intense.
Which one? Wait, from what?
I'm not going to tell you right now because they're really, really spoilery.
Okay.
But we've talked about them.
We've talked about them?
We've discussed them. Hold on one second. Taking myself off camera.
Oh. I don't think we talked about that.
Well, we're not talking about it on this show because it's way too spoiler.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Fair enough. Okay.
Oh, Hook's face was funny, Amy. Absolutely.
All right, so let's see.
Interesting.
Anne-Marie.
Yes.
Out of 171 slices of Granny's stale lasagna, how many slices of Granny's stale lasagna do you give this episode?
Oh, out of what, 171 you said?
171.
171 slices of good. Man, I like meatloaf. Or lasagna. It was lasagna? I thought it was meatloaf.
No, it was lasagna.
No, it was Granny's meatloaf.
No, was it meatloaf?
I could have sworn it was meatloaf.
I'm pretty sure that Charming said lasagna.
I thought it was meatloaf.
Well,
Either way,
all
171
of-
slices. Like
all of Granny's food is stale.
it's because it's been transported across kingdoms and realms. I'm going to give it 130.
130. Why?
Things happen, but I'm not overly excited.
Impassioned?
I am not. I'm pretty impassioned, as we can tell. The Italian in me is talking with her hands this evening, and I'm getting loud. But it's not necessarily great things. I don't know. Everybody seems to like it a lot more than me.
Yeah, I over here in the chat room, we do have some higher ones here. We have 160 slices of stale lasagna from Bobby, 165 from Mother Anne-Marie, 169 from Amy P. She thought it was good except for the last line. Hope says 99 sad Lancelot tears.
Wow.
And then Angels, 165. And you know what? I'm going to say...
They're all like giving other things because we have Hope with their 99 sad Lancelot tears. Poke Canada, 150 star eye sun passwords.
I got 99 problems, but a rating ain't one. No, but it was honestly out of 171 slices of Granny stale lasagna. I would probably have given it about a 160, a 162 until that last line. One single teaspoon of ricotta cheese from the stale lasagna is all I give it now.
Jeez.
Do better.
Better.
But I did like all the Lancelot stuff, or all the King Arthur stuff, all the King Arthur origin stuff. And we really never even talked about this, the subterfuge and team up with Snow and Charming.
I loved that.
That was really good.
I had that in there, but then I liked the fact that I'd had another sniffing.
I didn't add it because I figured you'd talk about it.
I had other things.
That's fair. That's fair.
Other things.
Okay, well, I guess that about does it for our main discussion. So now, on to the news.
News.
First up, the ratings. As always, ABC's Once Upon a Time, Who Cares About Quantico and Simpsons,
Whatever, I copied the line.
were the night's top scripted shows, each drawing a 1.6 in adults 18 to 49. The two ABC shows were even with last week, while The Simpsons... Who cares
We don't
about
care
the
about The
Simpsons?
Simpsons.
Nobody cares about The Simpsons.
Nobody cares about The Simpsons anymore.
Not for almost 10 seasons now. Okay, so let's see here.
Obviously, somebody does, or they wouldn't still be making it.
I guess so. Okay, let's go ahead and watch the trailer for next week's Dreamcatcher.
Dreamcatcher,
You know
you
what?
got the
One thing I
best.
want to ask real quick is you were saying that people were complaining about Neil on social media. What was the complaint? Because you never really even came up this episode.
No, it didn't.
We'll figure it out while we watch this.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
let's
it
see.
was because of the Neo. Hope, help me. It was you. I saw
Do you
stuff.
remember why I first brought you to Storybrooke?
Things are different now.
Next Sunday.
Emma's creepy now.
To break
Emma
a
is
curse,
creepy.
And
the
then they
Dark
find
One meets a
Excalibur in
hero.
Emma's secret hideout.
Yes. Merida, take him to the woods.
And then Merida, make him brave. Brave, make him brave. Brave. Because you were in the movie Brave.
Shattered.
You will always lose the ones you love the most.
The Dark One
Once Upon a
curse.
Time, next Sunday at 8, 7
And the Dark
Central
One cries.
on ABC.
And maybe soon enough, the Dark One dies. I don't know. We'll see. It remains
I've just
to be
sent
seen.
you a message. Oh, no, sorry, not talking to me. Neil equals Dreamcatchers. Well, yes, Neil equals Dreamcatchers.
Definitely.
Dreamcatchers is Neil and Emma's thing. Okay, so that's all we're saying.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's going to tie in a little bit more directly last week or
It
next week.
it has to. But Dreamcatchers were also used with healing
Mm-hmm.
vision power thingies, which I need to rewatch that wherever it was.
Yeah, Hope. I definitely know they were definitely Neil and Emma's thing for sure.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. I've forgotten a lot about this show, but I haven't forgotten that.
It was so much better than Hook. Sorry.
No.
Yes.
No.
We can bring back that battle.
No.
I will bring that back. Swan Fire.
Okay, well, you know what? Next week, after you're done watching the episode and you're horribly disappointed, pour the sands of Avalon on yourself so you're restored.
That means Neil will be alive again.
Then
Yay!
email us, greetingsfromstorybrooke@gmail.com. Tweet us at GFStorybrooke. The Facebook is facebook.com/greetingsfromstorybrooke. And the voicemail number, which we almost always play, is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352.
Oh, why are you doing that?
Just to mess with you. Okay, first up, we have a voicemail from Michael. Take it away, Michael.
Hey, Bill and Anne-Marie, it's
Hi.
Michael. So, did I just watch The Broken Kingdom, an episode of Once Upon a Time,
Yes.
or did I just watch Dead is Dead, an episode of Lost? There were a couple of points in this episode where I really wasn't sure. It's kind of cool that they do that, but sometimes it also annoys me that they borrow so heavily from Lost, and I don't know, I'd be interested to see what y'all think about that when you start watching Lost. But Henry falls in love with a stable girl. I noticed that was a very interesting thing, kind of a parallel with Regina. I wonder if this
Definitely.
hints at tragedy to come with him and his story. Do you think Emma, his mother, might kill Violet? It's interesting
see
that they have these sands of Avalon. Avalon is definitely meaningful within the Arthurian legends. It's linked with similar mystical islands from cultures all over the world, often having to do with elves and fairies. From Arthurian legend, it's actually where Excalibur was forged and the home of Morgan Le Fay, and it's also where
yeah, that's
Arthur is
true.
taken after being killed by his son to return when England needs him the most. Which I wonder if that's going to be an element of this story. And Once Upon a Time is Arthur returning after death. It'll be interesting to
Zombie Arthur.
find out. Also, didn't the secret chamber that opened into that little jungle glen kind of feel a little bit like the Glinda's prison from the Ozark, only it wasn't winter then? So overall, I think it's a pretty solid episode. I'd give it a 8.3 out of 11 dull knives lying in a drawer that Merida needs to sharpen. Can't wait to hear what y'all think. Take care.
I think I'm not brave enough, but you know what? I think I will be soon because we have a voicemail from Bobby who was sorely missed. People were screaming in the chat room, "Where is Bobby's voicemail?"
And apparently the internet decided to eat it for half an hour. He's like, I sent it at 8. I don't know why my phone waited half an hour.
Take it away, Bobby.
Hey, Bill and Anne-Marie, it's Bobby.
Howdy.
So I really like what they're doing with Camelot this season. I like how it's, like the episode says, a broken kingdom. It's a false utopia. I like how it showed how slowly over time this little boy who was told this prophecy that he would be king could be driven mad by said prophecy. So mad that he is led to deceive his queen and his kingdom in order to fulfill that prophecy. So mad that when, like he says, when he finally sees the king or sees the wizard who made said prophecy, he'll run him through with the sword that he resurrects. So all of that I thought was really great. I love how it's all kind of Jonestown-ish, him kind of using like mind control, aka magic sand, to put one over on everybody, including Snow and Charming, and I thought Charming did a really good job this episode. For like half the episode, I'm sure I, along with everyone else, was like, "What the hell are you doing?" Or "What the heck are you doing?"
I like how you corrected.
Yeah. Anyway, it was really cool to see him and Snow working together in the end, and I thought Hook did a really good job with Emma this episode. I thought Emma did a good job. Jennifer Morrison is doing a good job portraying like someone trying to like hold back the darkness. With the dream catchers they showed in the window that she made, and with her at the end like holding that flower even in present day, I really feel like she's trying to hold back the darkness. I feel like the Dark One and the person who holds the Dark One are like two separate entities that you really have to totally embrace the darkness to, for the Dark One to totally envelop you. And maybe that's why she's looking for another savior, is to, that she can't do it because she'll let on that she isn't embracing the darkness. And so she has to find someone who will, fight it for her. But other than that, I have two gripes on the episode. What was up with the vault and the darkness, like enveloping Lancelot? Because like the darkness should have been in Rumple at that point, so I really don't understand what was going on there. And then I don't know, maybe it was just some sort of defense mechanism or something. I don't know. And then what's up with no Granny, no Grumpy, no dwarves? Because like at the beginning of the season, they made this big deal about how like, oh, they want to be on the adventure, and a few episodes in here, and like no hide nor hair of them. I don't know. I'm really hoping to see them next episode, but I doubt it. Other than that, great episode. So I'm giving it 327 of 342 coveted kisses.
Thank you very much, Bobby. So glad we were able to get you in, too. Okay, next up is Other Anne-Marie. Take it away, Other Anne-Marie.
Hi, Bill and Anne-Marie. This is Other Anne-Marie calling in for greetings from Storybrooke. Twisty episode. My goodness. I felt like it was, you're lying before I was lying after I lied to her kind of lying. I was so confused at one point. I'm going, okay. It was a really good episode because of it, because it was so confusing. And a lot of us were right. Arthur is a bad guy. So where do we go from here? I didn't even realize we didn't go to Storybrooke until like the last 2 seconds when it said present day in Storybrooke. And I was like, oh my goodness, we didn't go back and forth. It was good. It was really good. Out of 15 graying hairs on Emma's head, I am giving it 14 and a half. One more thing, though. I do have an issue with the timeline because it was 5 years ago when they were trying to find the dagger, and Rumple was there, and Rumple was supposed to be in Storybrooke. Timeline. It didn't make any sense. Okay, bye.
Okay, so as far as the timeline is concerned, they tweeted out Adam tweeted out today.
Adam tweeted it.
With a little diagram from the writer of the episode. Basically, they weren't counting
the 28 years of the curse.
Yeah, they weren't counting curse time. So there's your timeline. That's why it was 5 years this way or that way. They weren't counting when time was frozen. So, just let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Be brave and let it go. Okay.
Let it go.
Here, we have a few letters here. First is from Angel. She says, hey, Bill and Anne-Marie, it's Angel. So, wow, tonight's episode, where to begin? How about Arthur? So I know that we've been discussing how shady Arthur is, though I did want to give him the benefit of the doubt. But after tonight, he is the absolute worst. I don't think I have ever been so angry at a fictional character. I was seriously absolutely speechless with anger when he used the Sands of Avalon on Guinevere. But I guess this has officially established Arthur as not only a terrible husband, no wonder Gwen fell in love with Lancelot, but also as the other big bad of the season. Oh, you know what? I think they could probably... They like doing twist. I think they could twist it back at some point.
I'm sure they could.
Probably.
Maybe
If they can redeem Rumpel, if they can redeem Regina, they can still redeem Arthur, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, let's see. Big bad of the season. I can't help but wonder exactly why Arthur wants to kill Merlin. Is he afraid that somehow if Merlin is freed from the tree, he will destroy everything that Arthur has created? Maybe he'll expose Arthur. That's me. Either way, I guess this goes to show that maybe the way a person becomes king should not be completely decided by the obtaining of some mystical sword. Who's all for overthrowing Arthur's rule and having Lancelot be the king of Camelot? I could buy that. Not
But
this
you don't trust
Lancelot.
him.
No, I was going to say not this Lancelot, actual Lancelot. Anyway, even though this episode only provided more questions, very few answers, and a groan-inducing cheesy closing line, I'm going to give this episode 54 out of 60 bouquets of pink roses. Thank you very much, Angel.
All right, this next one is from Ash. Hey, Ann and Bill. Holy smokes, I missed these charmings. Yes, yes, yes. Slow clap. I like that they're stage directions. Henry. I love it when they all work together. Hashtag we're all in this together. Woohoo. Also, oh my gosh, Avalon Sand Illusions. Ugh. Though Merida and Lancelot team up, me likey and Brave Boot Camp score. Let's see. You know, Arthur's hunt for the dagger, etc. kind of reminds me of how Rumpel was with Bay. Ponder, ponder. Good intentions and goes about it all wrong. I was hoping that Snow and Charming were testing him like they once did with Regina. It makes me so happy. And poor Gwen and Merida and the rough stuff they're going through. I hope maybe they can help each other. Hashtag strong. Good queens for win once they have it all figured out how to negate the sand. Giving this one 9 vials of Avalon Sand out of 10. Cheers and hugs, Ash.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Ash. Okay, next one up is from Alina. Alina says, this was an okay episode, more filler than moving the plot. Only got interesting towards the end. What I liked about the episode is Snow fighting then tricking Arthur. My favorite line to Charming, you thought you could trick me with a catchy title, or Charming saying, you thought you could trick me with a catchy title and a comfy chair. Love that line. Regina says, I'm not worried about them. They can outlive a cockroach. I did not like Arthur and Guinevere putting a spell on Charming. I really hope Regina knows them well enough to see something's not right. And maybe this is why Emma thinks they fail her, because she doesn't know that they have been cursed. Or, a spell. What do you think? Do you think Regina's going to see through it?
Yes. I think she will in a bit. Just because they sent her on this big long journey to hide the dagger. And they come back, they're like, no, we need the dagger right now. And but what? No. Because they wouldn't do that. So anyway, continue.
Oh, other Anne-Marie in the chat room says, I really need to stop with the Frozen stuff. And
No, you don't.
Bobby agrees. He says, yeah, Bill, let it go. Okay, so
In summer. Sorry.
And then Alina also says, I'm also beginning to think Emma embraces the darkness to save everyone from Camelot. Also think she's going to use their love, I'm guessing her and Hook's, for her to destroy the darkness completely. She's doing it for the right reasons, but the wrong way, which we see a lot on Once. So.
I don't think you have a choice on Once. I don't think there is a right way for a good end. You either do something good and bad things happen, or you do bad things and something good's going to happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Duh.
Okay, you want to take this next one?
Oh, yes, sure. All right, this one is from Hope. The Broken Kingdom was a tale of two halves for me. I loved the first half, but the second was borderline season 4 terrible. Here's my list of pro and cons from the episode. FYI, Hope's full letter is on the website, so I'm just going to give you a little from pro, a little from con.
You know, and this is the first time we've done a blog post with letters on
for this season.
Storybrooke.com, and the first time in forever. It's the first time
in forever.
It's the first
time in forever. Let's see. I loved Arthur's obsessing over the dagger. It fits him into the ranks of Rumpel and Killian obsessing over their respective quests. The Charming fight was much needed. Sometimes the Charming seem untouchable with their Sunshine and Rainbow's relationship. It humanized them so much. The reveal that Arthur wants to kill Merlin was an interesting twist. Cons! While Hook and Henry's scenes together is great, I really need to see Henry with Robin. That's his other potential stepfather. Look at that. Magic Sand magically fixing all of Arthur's problems. Why can't he be a real villain and take care of some things on his own? Remember Peter Pan? He was such a good villain because he outsmarted the heroes. Arthur using sand feels like lazy writing. Why must we always fall back to magical item number 12? Because it's a magical show.
I will say that, that Arthur, he's a real fixer-upper. Go ahead.
Merida and jail with Lancelot didn't bother me, but I do have a big issue with Merida training Rumple to be a hero. Why? Why doesn't Emma threaten Belle instead? That would pull out Rumple's hero urges faster than Merida kicking his in the woods. Oh, wait. Disney has their grubby hands all over Once's plots again, and they have to pull her somewhere into the story. Questions I have. Can the Rumple in Emma's mind plot separately from her? The Dark One is a separate spirit. Can it do other things without Emma's knowledge? I
would kind of like it to be, well, I guess Emma can't sleep as the Dark One, but to see like the Dark One entity just like control, like sleepwalking Emma kind of thing. That'd be fun.
Well, she kind of is sleepwalking when she's making the dream catchers. I gave the Broken Kingdom 12 out of 20 beautiful Lancelot tears. You really like those Lancelot tears, don't you, Hope?
Everyone does. One more point Hope had here. She was just saying, are there more than one Dark One wells and vaults? In season 4, Rumple's vault had no doors and no way out, which varied from the vault in the Broken Kingdom. Well, there were no doors in that one, but really, love is an open door. So I just wanted to point that out.
How many can you do? This is amazing.
Okay, so Patty says, "Dear Bill and Emery,"
which Patty's letter is over on the website as well, so it might get bits and pieces,
a little truncated. Okay, out of 1,001, I think. What's the actual sand?
Avalon.
Yeah, out of 1,001 grains of Avalon sand, I'll give it 750 sands, because while this week's episode wasn't bad, it wasn't as strong as last week's. The reason why I felt this way is because of David and Mary Margaret's flashback. Well, the flashback did have a few enjoyable moments, but all around I felt bored. Which is ironic, since the other flashback was one of the best parts of the episodes, since I enjoyed watching the evolution of Arthur and Guinevere's relationship, especially seeing how Arthur's obsession with the dagger had not only cost him his marriage, but his reaction did make it one of my favorites of the show. The flashback caused me to compare their relationship with Rumple and Belle's relationship. Of course, because Patty loves Rumbell. Patty is a firm Rumbeller.
Very firm Rumbeller.
Since both of these couples did learn of their marital troubles as a result of one of them craving power, but at the same time, Rumple's and Arthur's do share the weakness when it comes to the Dark One dagger. I wonder if the craving for power is a side effect of wielding Excalibur or its power. That's a good idea, a good thought. Extreme power breeds extreme kind of desire. Meanwhile, Arthur's weakness is tied to the perception that while he wields his unbroken Excalibur, and the potential conquest and revolution that can emerge if they learn the truth. It would be easy to say that Arthur was the principal idiot of this episode. Hold on. Idiot of this episode when he decided going on a pointless adventure is more important than celebrating his wife's birthday. But I would be lying. This title goes to Emma when she asks Merida to teach Rumple brave. Since you can't teach anyone to be brave, because being brave means to perform an action without considering the risk or being afraid. I will say, I will take a little exception to Emma claiming that so many people claiming that Rumple's a coward. He's not really a coward. He never really was. He was the reason he
was just scared.
Well, yeah. Well, he wasn't even scared. The reason he left the Ogre War is because the seer told him if he stayed there that his family would die.
Oh, there is that. Yeah.
Or in a roundabout way, it ended up being that if he left, they'd end up dying. Which is how it came out. But it sounded like if he stayed in the war, they'd be killed. That he would be killed and they'd be left alone.
Yes, that was it.
He wasn't scared of dying. He was scared of his family being left alone.
Yes, and with good reason.
Yeah, but then he kind of became a coward after that, I guess.
Well,
a little bit.
Things happen.
Okay, let's see. What Rumpel should be learning is courage, which the action that involves acknowledging the risk that surround an action and overcoming that fear. There is no reason to confuse these two words, and no trying to tie into the title of a Pixar movie the title of a Pixar movie is not a reasonable excuse, but a pathetic one. Thank you very much, Patty, and I think I definitely agree. Mm-hmm. I definitely agree.
Woohoo! I've got a tweet over here.
Oh, do you?
So here's one that we got from Robochatorium, something like that. Raina Rue. Guinevere is a queen, but she reuses the costumes of Jack from Tiny and Rapunzel from the Tower. Ha!
Good points. Very good points. And I will just say, if you want to build a snowman, reindeers are better than people because life's too short, and you should make today a perfect day.
Reindeers are better than people.
We should know better. You're you.
You've gone into the ones that aren't
Disney karaoke Frozen.
Those ones aren't actually. Some of those aren't in the movie.
Reindeer remix. Okay, I think we've done all of the lines, all of the things from all of the Frozens. And I've been brave this entire time. So next week, when you're done watching the episode, again, you might be a little disappointed. It's okay. Just sprinkle those old sands of Avalon.
And you'll be fine.
On your head.
Everything will be wonderful.
And so are the days of our lives.
Chocolate.
Email us, greetingsfromstorybrooke@gmail.com. Tweet us at GFStorybrooke. Facebook is facebook.com/greetingsfromstorybrooke. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. And according to my chat room over here,
they hate us.
We load up every Monday night, 8:30 p.m. EST, to talk Once Upon a Time at live.universebox.com. According to the chat room, everybody has left. They hate us. Goodbye, Bill. Ugh. Stop saying Frozen stuff.
We can't stop.
We can't stop. Just be brave. We'll be done soon. Anne-Marie, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at DeSimone.
And as for me, you can follow...
Some people are worth melting for, other Anne-Marie. Yes. Yes.
And as for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Bill Meeks. You can follow all of the podcasts we do, including Legends of Gotham, Greetings from Storybrooke, and soon to be finished Universe Box at universebox.com. And you know what? You can pick up my fairy tale.
I was like, which one are you going for?
The Trials of King Sparrow at bit.ly/King Sparrow. It's a real humdinger. It's a real humdinger. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so I think that about does it. Any other business?
Nah, Angel's been zoning out because of all the Frozen stuff.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. Do you want to build a snowman, Angel?
Do you want to build a snowman? You're gonna leave me hanging?
Until next time.
Greetings from Storybrooke. Now they have to suffer through football for Star Wars.
Ah ha ha ha! Two things I hate.
They are all in one!
Disney was all like, hey, Bill, I know you don't like Star Wars, but the new movie is out and everyone's talking about it and it's really hip. How about this? Why don't we play the trailer during football for you? And I was like, no.
No,
not happening.
Nope.
No, but thank you guys so much for joining us, as always. Oh, Mother Emery asked if I saw the latest hockey games. No, I didn't.
Not so much.
But we love you guys.
We love
sorry
you guys.
for all the Frozen stuff.
We're not. We're not sorry.
It's been at least 9 months. We just had our Frozen reference baby.
We really did. It's a long time coming.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
Okay. All right. We got to go Gotham now.
All right. Bye,
guys.
As
Thank
soon as I can figure out how to turn this